Welcome to the Weekly Pulse. We are starting a new segment, and this is going to be with myself, Joe Horseman, who owns Horseman Financial here in town, and another gentleman, Ryan Sotman, who's not on today. But we're going to do a new segment each week, visiting local businesses, organizations around the community to really just try to promote everything that's going on in Highland and spotlight all the things that are going on, and hopefully give everybody a platform to tell people what they do, because Highland has a lot of great things going on that get looked over a lot of times, or people don't realize it happens until it's too late. And like, oh, I wish I would have known about that. So me and Joe have talked about this for a while and wanted to just highlight our community because it's a great community. So Joe, if you'd like to introduce yourself a little bit here real quick.
Sure. Joe Horseman. I own Horseman Premier Financial. We're located on Pine Street over by the Weinheimer. We help people with their personal finance, small business owners, kind of the roundabout mill of anything in the financial world. So tied in with a lot of people in the community, like you said. And I think after talking, we both realized that this was a good format to start, intermingling all of our relationships and try to make this awareness in the community stronger. So
we have our very first guest today, and this is Gail Holthaus. She has started the Greg Holthaus Memorial Fund, and I got to meet Gail several years ago because she helped me find an AED machine, and that's part of her mission is to get AED machines in as many places as possible. Yeah. So Gail, I'm going to let you, instead of me giving you the introduction, okay, I'll let you do it and tell us, who you are, how the fund got started, and we'll dive in.
Okay. Thank you for having me. And I just want to say we're number one. So, hey, this is my son, Greg Holthaus. He was the youngest of 5 children. He was a very active, funny guy. He played football and baseball. He just had friends, all walks of life. He was just that guy who didn't know a stranger. Anyway, 11 years ago, October 13th, 2013, Greg went to Mizzou, University of Columbia, to visit friends for the weekend. It was just, normal thing. I was like, hey, I'll make you breakfast before you go, him and a couple of his friends. So we had a nice little send off. He was there. He was, doing what you would do at Mizzou on a weekend. And,
going to the library?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Definitely. Picking up a paper route,
sure.
So yeah. But, as I was told, Greg didn't overdo it. So it wasn't, a lot of people thought, wow, he was at Mizzou, it had to be a drinking thing. And to tell you the truth, at first, the way, I found out that he passed away, someone told me an officer told me he was found blue and unresponsive on the bathroom floor. So that kind of, but I just kept thinking, that just doesn't sound like Greg. Greg, he liked to have fun, but he didn't overdo. So anyway, Greg was, with his friends. He woke up very early Sunday morning and told his friend he didn't feel well. So his friend showed him where the door and bathroom was. And his friend went back to sleep, which I always say is exactly what I would have done because I like to sleep, But his friends woke up a couple hours later and Greg wasn't there. They went back to the bathroom and they found him blue and unresponsive. So these were his 2 best friends that found him. So it was just very hard on them. So anyway, we found out, we got a phone call. I got a call from his friend and he just kept saying, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And, as a parent, you don't think the worst. You think, oh, what did Greg do now? I mean, he's at the library, he messed up a library book or something. He's in trouble, but not even realizing what happened. So anyway, we got ready, got in the car. We're ready to hightail it down to Columbia. And as I'm getting in the car, my husband says, oh, I'm on the phone with the hospital. And the hospital told him, your son, who was there that morning for breakfast, was on the other line. So they were both talking to the hospital. And before we even got out of the driveway, they told us that Greg had passed away. So, we have 4 other kids, and we made the decision, not right then, to not go to Columbia because, we had to take care of our kids who were here. Sometimes I, question that, but in the end, that's what we did, and that's what we're sticking with. So anyway, Greg, he went into sudden cardiac arrest. He was 18 years old. He was by himself. Had he been with someone, had someone been there to do CPR, his chances of survival would have doubled. If someone was there to use an AED or an automatic external defibrillator, his chances of survival would have tripled. The other thing we eventually found out was that Greg had a undetected heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is basically an enlarged heart. So your heart is size of your fist, and an enlarged heart doesn't get bigger this way, but the valves, I'm drawing a blank on my words here, it gets thicker, so it's harder to pump blood throughout your body. And that's what happened. Had gotten so thick that he just couldn't pump blood, went into a funky rhythm, and probably he died right away. We found out that because this heart condition could have been picked up on an EKG or an echo, probably an echo, a picture seeing that it was enlarged. We didn't know that there was, people that did heart screenings. In fact, there probably weren't that many people that did heart screenings 11 years ago. And I always say, had we known that, I know I probably would have taken him to that, because that's just something that was always on my radar.
Is that something, Gail, that can be corrected, the condition that he had if they found out?
It can be corrected or managed.
Okay.
Sometimes through, and actually what we found out is I have the same condition as he had. I had no clue. Mine obviously isn't as bad as his. I didn't have symptoms. And symptoms, that's kind of another thing. Sorry, I hope you didn't want to ask questions, because I'm just going.
You go. You're answering all the questions, so it doesn't. I don't need to talk.
It's a good episode. We're not asking questions.
Anyway, so when you're young, he probably had symptoms, heart symptoms, a racing heart or tightness in his chest or lightheadedness. He probably had these symptoms all his life, but to him that's normal. So when you're growing up with something, any kind of ailment, I have reflux, and I didn't know how bad it was till I took some medicine for it, So as a kid, you don't really realize, because kids aren't supposed to have heart problems. So anyway, but that's, one thing. Our mission is threefold. And so we do CPR classes. We do free community CPR classes. So probably once every other month, we have Highland Huron Fire Department helps us, and Zach Jenny will do the classes for us. Those are free.
Where are they at?
At the Highland Huron Fire Station. We don't have our October one set up yet, but we will. October is also sudden cardiac arrest month, so we'll definitely do one in October. So we do, like I said, the CPR classes. We do AED donations, and we also help businesses purchase an AED, because we get excellent prices on AEDs. And part of our mission is just get the AEDs out there.
Could you, so you're mentioning the AED, could you, maybe a lot of people don't know exactly what that is, what it does. Could you take a moment and just share, the machine and what it actually does and how it can help?
That would be great, because, sometimes I forget. And, these are things that it's taken me 11 years to to know. So this is an AED is an automatic external defibrillator. And if someone goes into sudden cardiac arrest, and sudden cardiac arrest is when your heart stops beating. So basically you're dead. So to bring you back, if you're doing CPR, that keeps the blood flowing through your body. If you have a AED or automated external defibrillator, that can shock your heart back into a normal rhythm. And this is what would actually save your life. The CPR is very important because, like I said, it kind of keeps the blood flowing. And
CPR is going to buy you time, but at the end of the day, if you don't get a shock, you're not coming back to life.
Probably not.
Like CPR is rarely ever going to just bring somebody back. It's going to take the shock. The CPR keeps blood circulating to keep you alive a little longer till we get one of these on somebody.
Mm-hmm. So, and this, I'll go ahead and turn it on, and it'll get a little loud.
Call for help. Follow instructions to apply pads. Remove clothing from patient's chest. Locate pads package in back of AED.
There, nice.
If you want to kind of show it that way. Yep,
sorry.
That's okay.
So we're not going to tear the pads
Peel
open
adhesive pads from blue liner. Apply pads to patient's bare chest as shown. Remove clothing from patient's chest.
It would probably be a good idea to, when you get one of these, to go ahead and go through the prompts here, so you're a little more expeditious on the
But
on the action there.
the good thing is, like, anybody using one of these, you can't screw anything up.
No.
You can't accidentally shock somebody that's still alive because it won't let you do it. The machine takes care of basically everything. They're pretty much dummy proof if you can actually focus and just listen and follow instructions. But you can't mess anything up. So I know in classes that I've taken, that's one of the problems is people are scared to actually use one because they think they might hurt somebody, or they get afraid and that they could do damage. You literally can't hurt anybody by putting one of these on. If Gail wanted to slap it on me, it's not going to shock me. It's not going to do anything because it knows that I'm alive. It's going to pick up.
Have you, since this is a cause of yours, do you have a story of how this might have actually helped or impacted someone?
I do not.
That's good.
That's good. Well, I have one, but someone was at a establishment drinking, and they went down. This is what I think the police officer told me, and they did get out and use the pads, but I think they were it was either something else that, or they were already gone. I think they were kind of already gone. So, yeah, they used the ones. The police officers in town have AEDs in their cars, or they used to. We donated some a few years back. So, because a lot of times the police are the first person to be on site. So, are these good for the home? Are they good for businesses? Big, gathering areres. Where is it good? Is it run of the mill everywhere, or what do you? Pretty much everywhere. We have one that we keep in our car, which actually I need to get a new battery for. And this one we actually had as a loaner to, we've been doing this long enough that now pads are we're finding new problems that we need to solve. Like the pads are expiring, and it's like, okay, we didn't, we're just giving these away. We need to start, remembering that. And
the batteries only last for so long, like you said.
Yeah, 5 years usually.
So you got to get a new battery, even if you have one of these. Like like mine at the gym has a little blinking light on it, so I can kind of see that it's still good or whatever. But I've had mine for probably getting close to 5 years. Yeah, that we got through you. But the important thing is I like the statistics of it, and from what I've been taught is that why these things are so important to have everywhere is the faster you get one of these on somebody, the better chance of survival it is. And for every minute that it takes to put one of these on, you lose about 10% chance of survival. So if we have these within a minute's range of somebody that goes down, there's a 90% chance that they'll actually survive or come back. But if it takes 10 minutes to get one, that's almost too late. So that's the importance of why these, if the more readily available they are, the faster we can get them on somebody and better chance you're going to save somebody. And I believe, didn't somebody at the rec center use one
Yes.
within the last year, or is that 2 years ago?
I can't remember. The years are starting to blend.
I know. I'm terrible.
Yeah.
I say it all the time. I can't remember years for shit. So,
But yeah, that was not one that we donated. But because of that incident, we did donate another one. So now the rec center has one upstairs in the gym and downstairs by the desk, which is where they had it before. So yeah, it's we actually donated one to the library. Well, two of them, one to have at the library, but we also donated one that's a that you can check out. So, if you're having a gathering or you're, doing something, go to the library, check out the AED.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And yeah, I think it has a first aid kit in it. It's in a backpack, so it's
Are they contacting you? How are you getting the word out to different places that, hey, this is important, you need one? Like, how are you getting the information that there's a need there?
Things like this.
Yep. Okay,
So
perfect.
thank you. Yeah. We have a Facebook page, and, I always tell people, really the only thing that qualifies me to do this job is that I'm Greg's mom, because I'm kind of old school. My computer skills are aren't very good. I've got someone who's working on a website, but he also has a family and in sports. And so I know he doesn't, so it takes a while.
So when you do your fundraisers and stuff, that's generating the money for you to be able to purchase these and then turn around and make a donation. Is that kind of the way you guys like to go about it?
Yes. So, so a lot of times we have people that'll contact us. We just had someone called Wild Riders in Gillespie, and it's a horse stable, and they do fun events, and it's a nonprofit, and they asked us for one, so that's one that we're kind of waiting to come in. It's funny, whenever someone asks me, it's like we've already donated, I think, about 140.
Wow.
But I sit here and go, I'm thinking of one, But one thing that I am very proud of is that we're getting them out to the parks and rec. So Silver Lake has one by the volleyball court, and they're going to be having one. We have one donated to go by the walking trail. Let's see, Silver Lake, the square has one. Rinder Park has one.
got one out at the Glick Park.
At Glick Park. We actually have two at Glick Park now.
Where's the one on the square?
The one on the square is in a big red tower. It was on the wall behind the band shell, but they moved it, I guess, looking at it to the right.
It's kind of right. It's right out in the open.
I wondered what that was. So
yes,
that's okay.
Yes. So so those are outdoor. Okay, there are outdoor cases that we've always donated, and they're good. But you kind of have to bring the AED in once it gets like below freezing. So so they're not accessible year round. These AED cases that we just got, I'm really proud of this. Anyway, they're year-round AED cases. They have fan in it in the summer to kind of keep things cool, and a little heater to keep them warm in the winter. So they never have to come in, but they also involve electricity, so they're not, they're not easy to get up. So it involves a lot of other things. So that's why it kind of takes a while. But at Glick Park, they have one at the concession stand and one at Wearsfield, which is behind Ruler Food. So that was one of the new ones that we got out.
So the theme is awareness.
Oh yeah.
What do you do for further awareness? You do have some fundraisers throughout the year.
Yeah. Well, our wiffle ball tournament was kind of our original fundraiser. Greg and his friends liked wiffle ball, and that was kind of how it started. Our first wiffle ball tournament. So our first wiffle ball tournament, I think we collected money to get an AED at the ball fields at the KC Hall. So that was our first one that we donated. I think our second one, we actually split the money with another nonprofit who's Heart Heart of Highland.
Oh, Heart of Highland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't think of, but anyway, and then after that, we kind of started getting into it more. And, the thing is, grief, we lost our son and brother and uncle. And so, we're just kind of trying to do something to keep his memory alive. Originally, the Greg Holthaus Memorial Fund was going to, give money to youth sports. And, that's the direction we were going because that's what Greg liked. Greg loved coaching. So that's kind of the direction we were going in. Well, once we found out more about why he died, then our focus changed. And, we found a group of other parents who have also been through similar circumstances as we have. They've, have lost children and some, and now we're getting to where there's a lot more who are saved. There's a lot more survivors. In fact, the guy that sells these DefibTech AEDs is a sudden cardiac arrest survivor. He was playing basketball and he just was sitting there 1 minute and went down the next minute. And he even says, I shouldn't be alive. There was not an AED in the gym, but there was a first responder right next door, came in and, started CPR and, they, got him going. So DefibTech is the brand of this AED. There's a lot of brands, Zoll, Cardiac Science. There's a lot of brands. So, but they all do the same thing.
How can someone get one of these that is going to listen today and watch and they feel like they've got that's a passion for them? How can they obtain one of these? Or they get in touch with you? What's the best way of going about that?
Yeah. So if you get in touch with me, I usually go by my phone number. We have a Facebook page.
Is it Greg Holthaus Memorial Facebook? Is that how they find you?
Holthaus
We'll
Memorial
put the
Fund.
link in the comments.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So, if you contact me there through Facebook, my email, gmholthaus@charter.net, is also a good way to get a hold of me. I just want to see more in the community because, it might be me. It might be my husband. It might be one of you guys. It can be anybody that goes down. And
so these can be fairly expensive, or at least I don't know where they're at today. So maybe you can kind of fill us in on that. But I think whenever I was looking to buy one, they were over $2,000 for one. And luckily, if you're able to go through Gail, she gets them at a discounted price for, I don't know how that works, but
yeah.
And I think it ended up only being like $1,400 or $1,500. So it was $700 cheaper to go through your fund, which is awesome. I have no idea. Where do they stand at today?
Well, you're going to be sad when you hear this.
Oh, no.
Or jealous or something. But
I'll be happy.
So, yeah. Anyway, like I said, DefibTech is just really good. They work well with nonprofits. They have a lot of nonprofits. So this AED would be on the market about $1,200, $1,500 online. I can get this for... The prices went up recently. I think it's $688.
Oh,
and then
well, that's
pads,
awesome.
Yeah, and it comes with a set of pads, and then usually people get pediatric pads, which are around $89, something like that. So, under $900, you can get an AED.
Pretty reasonable.
It is very reasonable. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, that's fantastic. Sure, I'm a little jealous, but it is what it is. I'd rather everybody has the ability to get them now opposed to limited access to them. And
well, and we get more exposure. It's, every now and then you'll hear of a high school athlete that something happened on the field or whatever, and it seems like it's always tied into cardiac arrest, and so it's becoming more aware for the people because we have social media and we're all tied in at all times, it seems like.
Yeah. Do you have a list of where they are in town, or is that something that could be made?
It's something that we're kind of working on. Right now we're also working on the wiffle ball tournament.
Yeah.
So and like I said, I always tell people the thing that I'm really good at is finding people who are good at the things that I can't do.
Yeah, can't do it all.
Yeah, so I do have
people
someone
surrounded by you that know and do more than you do.
That's right. I'm just the face. I'm just the mouth.
No, that's good.
So,
Your cause is awesome.
Well, thank you.
Speaking of the wiffle ball tournament, we didn't put
Yes.
talk about the date and time and stuff and how to register. So let's kind of discuss. So do you have a limited amount of teams? Is it unlimited? Give us more of the details of the specific of the event.
We usually have maybe 16 to 20 teams. Usually probably more about 16. It just the way it works, it has to be multiples of 4.
Okay.
Or else it just logistically doesn't really work out well. My son-in-law, Jeremy Sackett, he's the one that kind of handles the actual tournament day. I'm good till tournament day, then it's his baby. So the date is October 12th. It's a Saturday at the Highland Knights of Columbus ball field. Starts at 11. I always say we have teams of all ages. I think we have some 8-year-olds this year that, one of them, 2 of them will be 8. The other ones I think might be 10. So we have young kids who like to go out and just have fun. I have someone who contacted me who said he likes to go around the state, I guess, travel and go to wiffle ball teams. So we have some very serious teams. And usually, those, they kind of weed out. The serious teams are the ones that are kind of there at the end. We do have a cash prize. First place is $200. Second place is $100. But yeah, if you contact me, on the flyer, it's G Holthaus 34 at at yahoo.com.
And we'll go ahead and take a picture of this too and put it in the comments so that way everybody, you don't have to write all this stuff down. They'll be able to see it.
That would be great.
What's the deadline to sign up for October 12th?
Well,
if I wanted to play, what's the last date I can sign up?
Well, the preferred deadline is October 4th, and that's, because of course when you play, you get a free T-shirt. So to order the T-shirt, got to have that in.
Sure.
But I'm not going to lie, we have a lot of people that are signing up, coming that day going, hey, can I get a team?
Hard to turn that down.
Yeah. And, October's a busy time. In fact, we usually have it either the first or second weekend of October, and it depends on who's getting married. So, we have a wedding the first weekend of October, and a lot of the people who help will be at that wedding. So, there you go. That's how we decided on the 12th this year. So
okay, cool.
Gail's got an amazing story, Jeff. Don't you agree?
Yeah, it is amazing, and doing big things with the CPR, the heart screenings, getting these things out there, making people aware. My encouragement would be, if you're somebody who's around at local parks and stuff, take time to take a look around, know where these things are at in case something does happen, that you can be the first, exactly where you're going. It doesn't take much effort to just, cruise around the parks, where are these things located? So that way, if something were ever happen and you're around, again, every minute is significant when it comes to getting one of these on somebody. So
can we talk a little bit about the heart screenings?
Yeah.
Before we go?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the heart screenings, like I said, we do 2 heart screenings a year. We work with a nonprofit out of Ohio. They come here, and what they do is they do a echocardiogram and an EKG, and they're done by hospital sonographers or heart sonographers. So twice a year we do this. We usually do one in February. We do one in Edwardsville and one in Highland at the Edwardsville YMCA, and usually at Holly's House of Hope in Highland. I haven't secured that yet, but I'm sure it'll be a go. And then over the summer we do one at Centene Ice Rink, and we do another one in Edwardsville. And they usually fill pretty quickly, and it's, people are finding out. The thing about the heart screenings is, in over like 5 years, in a 5-year period, we've probably screened over 700 kids. And out of those 700, maybe 24 had an abnormality. And an abnormality doesn't mean it's life-threatening, because it looks like we had probably 6 life-threatening ones. But an abnormality is something that, you just need to know about. In fact, at our last heart screening, people don't always reach out to us if they have an abnormality, but I can see, they send me a list. It's coded, so I don't know who's what, but I can see there's, 4 abnormalities. But someone close to our family was one of the people that had an abnormality. A few years ago, my great niece had an abnormality, and it had nothing to do with what Greg's abnormality is. So yeah, I know we've had at least 2 people who've reached out and said that their child had something that was life-threatening, and they were able to, one of them had outpatient surgery and was playing varsity soccer, a few months later.
So these screenings, is there a cost to them? Is there a limit to how many, when you're in those locations, Highland and Edwardsville, is there a limit to how many, and is there also an age? You're mentioning kids, so give us a little bit about how all that.
So the age range is 12 to 22. So the reason that they start at 12 is because basically puberty, because, your heart's growing with your body, and, your heart's growing and changing. And on that note, too, we also recommend that you do this every 2 years because your heart's changing. If you do it, your 12-year-old heart's going to look a lot different than your 14 or 16-year-old heart. So that's the age range. The cost is $34, which is Greg's jersey number. So that's our,
That sounds very inexpensive for peace of mind.
Oh, yeah.
FYI.
Yeah, of course, I'm a little biased, but I can't see why anyone wouldn't do that.
I was going to ask you, why wouldn't someone come in and get their child screened? I mean, we found out, I feel like Vince has, our son Vince has asthma. And it's like, why wouldn't we, when that time comes, just verify and make sure, because you're saying, there's all these things that they grow up with and they become it's a normal state for them. Do we really know? Thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
He's a good partner.
Yeah.
You're drifted out the window on me.
Well, you didn't have to reel me in today, so I get way out in left field, and he's got to, right now. Okay, let's get back to focus.
Stay focused. So do you have a limit on when you guys run these events? You said the spots fill up quick. How many spots are there available when you guys do these events?
So usually we have around 60 a day. So, So, and we do ask that you pre-register. If there's a spot available, sometimes you can get in the day of.
Where can they find that info at? I think this is an important topic here.
Yeah. So we'll probably start advertising that maybe November, something, once we're done with the wiffle ball tournament. So usually on the Greg Holthaus Memorial Fund page, and then I try to put it on community pages too. And then I try to send it out to people who, maybe coaches, someone who will get the word out. But we, our last screening, or our last February screening, we were able to be on Channel 2 News, do a small spot in the morning. And we were in Edwardsville, we had someone come from Vandalia, we had someone come from West County, St. Louis. We had someone coming from Redbud. Yeah, that day. And then the next day we had someone coming from South St. Louis. So, there's no geographical limit. It's, wherever you're at. And so that just tells me people are coming and there's definitely a need for this.
I'd agree.
So.
Absolutely. That's an amazing fun that you got going.
Well, thank you.
And good testimony too.
We try. So the way, as far as fund, the way we raise money is at our wiffle ball tournament. We ask for sponsors, for donors, and if you sponsor $100 or more, you can get a sign put up at the wiffle ball tournament. The cost to play is really kind of gets the people there. You get a T-shirt, so we make a little bit off of that, but not a huge amount. Most of our concessions are all donated, so that's, we make 100% off the concessions. And then we gather raffle prizes. We usually have a pretty decent sized raffle, so that's another way. We do, one of Greg's friends, Spencer Holzinger, is a big bowler. He was a good friend of Greg's, and he started a bowling tournament. So in January, we have a bowling tournament too. So now we have a second fundraiser.
Oh, cool.
And Spencer's awesome with that because he's a bowler. He knows all the bowlers.
He's got a couple 300s in his bag, I think.
I think so, yeah. So So that tournament, brings out a lot of people that are around Greg's age, and I think that's a real fun night for them.
So people should follow your Facebook page so they can keep up to date on these different fundraisers, the heart screening, which I think, get signed up and get on that short list.
Yeah. And as soon as we get, everything set up, you should be able to sign up and reserve a spot. And two, something that's important is that, these screenings, they charge us $79. So we charge you $34. We pick up $45. We've been lucky that we've gotten grants to help cover our costs. So that's awesome. We also have people who have donated specifically saying, I want this to go for someone who can't afford a screening. So, so far, we offer that. We haven't really had too many people that we've done that far, but that option is there. Don't let that be. And, someone who might have 3-4 kids in that age range, that's a lot of money.
It adds up.
So, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's fantastic. Everybody get out there October 12th. Find some way to be a part of it, whether you're playing, donating to it, or just come out and hang out and spend money at the concessions.
Thank you.
And follow along. And like I said, we'll get all the links, put them in the comments, so that way everybody has access to the tournament. Follow along with Gail's page. And hopefully we can help promote this event and find your local AEDs.
That's right.